Hello everyone! It's Laura here, and let's see here. If you're not familiar with my channel, I am an artist and a colorist, and I like to do these live streams, these color and chat videos, just to show you guys some tips and techniques, and also enjoy coloring with some friends. So I haven't been here for a while. Unfortunately, the month of July and the beginning of August have been very difficult, both personally and also just extremely busy with work. So unfortunately, I haven't been around. I'm very sorry about that. I just the main thing that has been driving my absence is actually news that probably you've heard by now, but if you haven't, a dear friend of mine passed away recently, and it was a shock to everyone. I will put a link in the description below. Her name was Katrine, and her nickname on YouTube and Instagram was Always Coloring. And the main reason why it hit me very hard is because this is already cutting out. Okay, I'm here. I don't know how much of that you heard. But anyway, the reason why I haven't been around is because I'm missing my friend, Katrine. She passed away, and I'm going to put a link in the description after the video is done, just to show you her work. She has a YouTube channel, and it is lovely. And even though she's not here with us anymore, we can still enjoy her work. So anyway, I have been coloring a little bit. So the first page that I did, after the ones that you guys have seen, is this one here. And please excuse my tests. Sometimes I test different materials on pages. This is in the book Daydreams by Hanna Karlzon. And I did this. This is a thank you page. I hit 5,000 followers on Instagram. And so that was a really fun page to do. Sorry about the light. It's really cloudy today, so I think all the colors are a little bit washed out. And then the next coloring I did, I've been having a hard... Okay, and then the next page I did, sorry about that again, is from the Pop Mag coloring book by Camilla d'Erico. And sorry if I butcher anyone's name, that's not intentional either. Yeah, color. I don't know why it's so washed out, but yeah, so that's the page I did there with that. But today we're going to continue finishing this work here. We started this a while ago, and I just want to keep moving on it because I'm doing this page for a friend, and I want to keep going with it. So I think we left off... Tabitha, no. I did both of the last two pages. I was grieving, so unfortunately, most of the time I was crying while I was doing those pages, so I don't think that would have made a very good video. Good morning, Loretta. So no, I don't always record everything I do because sometimes coloring is really personal. Hello, Benny. Thank you so much. I think we left off with the dress. But I think today I just want to show you guys a new technique, something different. You can see here we did the background in watercolor, and it has like this streaky look to it because I used a small brush and not a whole lot of water. And that was because of the paper. I didn't want to destroy the book. But I can show you now how to correct this streaky look and make it look more smooth and a nice gradient. So I think that's what we're going to jump over to today. Just something fresh and keep going. So first what I like to do is I like to take a look and I see the darkest part of the sky is over here, which is good because the light is coming from this direction. So the dark area should be over here and the light area should be over here. But I want to make this transition much more smooth. Right now it's streaky. It has a lot of, let me zoom in a little so that you can really see. It has a lot of brush strokes and just different areas where it doesn't look great. And this happens with markers too. So this technique that I'm going to show you today would also work with markers. Okay, so let's start over. Let's see. I like to start with the darkest part of the sky, and that sort of like starts a benchmark for how light the rest of the sky will be. So I'm going to choose this Prismacolor Violet, Imperial Violet. This is PC 1007. And let me zoom in again so that way you guys can really see what we're going to do. And I am more comfortable with my strokes when I'm doing linear strokes. I'm more comfortable doing an up and down motion with my hand instead of a back and forth. So I'm rotating my book 90 degrees, and this will allow me to have a much more comfortable rhythm to my coloring. All right. So what I do next is I pick out exactly where the lightest areas are in this dark spot. So we have here, like you can see, there's like, oh, sorry, that's, I should have turned off my, I don't know how to do that now. I should have turned off my phone's volume. Here we go. Sorry about that, guys. Alrighty. So you can see, like, right here is the lighter. I want that to be darker. So I'm trying to avoid the darkest spot, which is here. And just with a very light touch, just go in. And it doesn't have to be a perfect match for the color. Like, this color isn't exactly the color of the watercolor. That's totally okay. What we're looking for is a value change, not really too worried. As long as the colors are similar enough, it will work very well. So I'm just going to work in the lighter spots, avoiding the dark areas or the streaks. And it really does smooth out very quickly. So if you have a streaky look on one of your pages, you can fix it with colored pencil pretty quick. Just by going over it gently in just the areas. I'm selecting just the areas that are lighter and avoiding the darker spots. And this allows it to blend. I hope that you guys can see this okay. For me, it looks blurry on my screen. I hope that the picture resolves. Oh, that's okay. Stacy, I haven't been around either. I've really been missing Katrine super bad, and I just haven't had the strength to talk about it yet very much publicly. So I'm kind of private when I'm sad. I don't really like to be sad in public. But I realized that if I'm having a tough time, then maybe others might as well. And so sometimes talking about it, even publicly, is part of the healing process. So, but I've been doing a lot better. You know, enjoying coloring again. For the first week or so after she passed, I was really, really down. But you know, we all go through these rough spots in our lives. Nothing is perfect all the time, so I think it's good to show I'm human too, and that not everything is perfect all the time, because it isn't. You know, but we get through it. Oh, look, we've got a kitty invasion happening right here. Okay, let me zoom out because she's going to probably rub up against the camera and make you guys feel dizzy. Sorry. Alright, hey Anne. She didn't do it. Okay, so we're good. So you can see already it's a lot smoother. And I'm gonna just keep working this little spot. I'll show you zoomed out because you can see here we've got streaks here, and then you'll see it's like magic. They just disappear. Just work in the light area and avoid that dark streak. And it just magically disappears. Now if you need to use a more sharpened colored pencil, please feel free. I'm accustomed to using blunt pencils because that's how I've always colored, rather with coloring pencils. That's just to save on the lead. That's my thing. If it bothers you, I'm very sorry. I know some people don't like it, but that's just how I do it. So you can see it's pretty easy to start getting a very smooth look. So I just keep working over the area, trying to notice any spots that are just a little lighter than they should be. And just very gently put the color down where it needs to go. And it becomes a nice smooth spot. I can zoom in again so that way you guys get a better look. Abby is. Yeah, from Always Coloring, she passed away, and she and I were close. We chatted a lot, and I actually drew her for my first coloring book. Like, I asked her permission, and she was so excited, and you know, when I told her I wanted to draw her as a mermaid, she loved the idea, and she asked me to draw her with treasure, so I drew a big gemstone for her. So yeah, I just have been having trouble processing that loss. Katrine was a wonderful colorist with an awesome personality, and she was only 23. She passed away from a blood clot in her lungs. So it was a shock to the whole community, and I personally have a bunch of regrets surrounding. You know, we both got really busy, and we had plans to do fun live streams or different topics together, but we never got a chance. We never got a chance to follow through with that. So it's just teaching me that I really need to, like, if I have a great idea, I really need to follow through with it right then, because life's too short and you never know. You never know. So, but yeah, I'm better now. There were days where I was not able to talk about it. So I am getting better every day, and it is getting a little easier every day. So just take it one step at a time. But that's okay. You know, everybody processes things in their own way. For me, I had difficulty coloring for a while. I couldn't open my books without crying pretty bad. But obviously now I can, I'm really enjoying coloring again, and I want to get back into it, so here I am. But yeah, I really felt her loss quite hard. I've only lost a couple of friends in my life, and she was too young. Okay, so, oh, coloring off camera. So here I'm just moving right along. We're gonna smooth out this streak here. And what's nice about this is it's really relaxing. Once you get to a rhythm, this is actually, I think, one of the funnest things to do in coloring is just to like zone out and kind of just let the page talk to you where it needs to be colored. But yeah, what I do is I just pick out the lighter areas and then avoid the darkness, so that way we can match up and bring it closer to the right value. And like I said before, this will work with markers. If you have streaky markers, you haven't ruined the page. You just, you can use this method too to correct any issues. So I love this. I could do this all day. And I know it seems silly because it's not like really challenging, but it's super relaxing just to let the page tell you what it needs. So, all right. And there's some spots, like I totally missed some areas. So again, we're just correcting any issues we had with the watercolors. They're nice, fast, medium. They got the color down really quick. But then this allows us to then go over and just sort of tidy up. Yeah, Stacy, she was really, really young. Yeah, I am feeling a little bit better. You know, it's one of those things, you just gotta take it one day at a time. And everybody grieves in their own way. But me, I have a hard time suppressing or hiding my emotions. A lot of the time I wear my heart on my sleeve. And so if I'm not ready to express what I'm feeling, I tend to kind of withdraw and just want to be alone. That's just my personal way. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, just so that you can see. So it's starting to look a lot better. This is the area I've sort of finished. It's not completely done, but like I've got a little here. You can see how this works great. And you can apply this to the whole page. Now, guys, do you want me to show you? See, I've been struggling with this because my real-time videos are so long. Like, it takes me 15 to 30 hours to finish a piece, so that's a lot of watch time for you guys. I don't know. Do you want me to show you the rest of the sky with using this method? Or would you prefer me to move on to a different topic and just assume that you guys can figure out how to fill in and figure out the rest? Because I think, you know, once you get the hang of the technique, it's going to be all the same. And this background's going to take me a while. So just let me know in the comments below or in the chat if you're here with me now what you would like to see. Alright, so for now though, I'm just going to pull out and show you guys. So the difference is really clear. You can tell in the area that I worked, it's smoother. There's a lot less streaks. Yeah, I think so too, Anne. Okay, so I'm gonna move on for now. If anybody has a problem, thanks, Loretta. If anybody really wants me to do the whole background, then just let me know. I'm not gonna work on it off camera yet. Just let me know in the comments below. And that way I can make sure to get it on film for you. But otherwise, I'm going to move on just so that we have a more interesting and fun video to watch. Okay, so I think what I'm going to start next is, let's move on to, let's see here. I think let's work on these butterflies since, excuse me, hold on. Let's work on these butterflies because they're in the close proximity and they look fun to work on. So for these guys, I'm going to pick out, I have here a couple different colors, so I'm just going to pull them first. I'll show them to you and then I'll let you know which one I'm using as I go. So this one here, focus. Well, I'll just call it out. So this is the Faber Castell Spectracolor. This is number 1412, and it's the orange pencil. I got these from a Etsy seller, so I will link that in the description below after. They're pretty cool. They're vintage. Okay, and then I'm also going to use this Prismacolor. Ooh, there we go, focused. So this one here is Prismacolor 1012 Jasmine. And then I'm also going to pick out a couple browns. So let's try one of my favorites. This is number 943 Burnt Ochre. And I'll also pull another vintage pencil, this time by a different make. This here is the Walnut Hollow Farm 9012 Burnt Umber. This is also quickly becoming another favorite of mine. So we have here a nice range of color. I'm going to use these guys to fill out and add detail. Okay, cool. I'm glad you guys are okay with me switching around because I think hours and hours of background videos might be a little boring. Okay. So I'm just looking at the marker I laid down earlier, trying to decide where I want to give highlights and details. And I'm going to start first with this upper wing, and I'm using the 1012 Jasmine from Prismacolor. I'm going to start in, let me zoom in a little for you. Okay, and it looks pretty messy right now, but all will be fixed. And I think that's part of the fun of having mixed media is it's like you can really be loose and free with those first layers and just have fun playing around with what color goes where. And then, you know, clean it up and make it look nice later. So now I'm switching over, and I'm going to be switching between these a lot. So if I miss one, at least we've got it all announced already. So this is the 1412 Orange from Spectracolor. And I'll just give a darker color right over here. Using soft to medium pressure. And just blending it on out. I think it gives it a nice warmth. Okay, I really like this color. This is going to be cool. Okay, so I'm going to use this, I'm going to travel over to these little triangles and just border the edges. and fuzz it out at the center, leaving a marker there for like bare for the center of the for the triangle. And I'm not like, I didn't plan any of this out, so I'm just kind of winging it. Get it? A butterfly wing? Yeah, no. My jokes will come back, don't worry. Okay. And let's switch on over. I'm going to sharpen this guy though, because these are tight little spots on him. Alright, so I'm switching on over to this 943 burnt ochre. And right where that dark outline is, I'm just going to run the pencil right over it and kind of fuzz it out on either side, just so it takes away that harsh line and makes it softer. This gives a painterly look. Sometimes I don't get rid of the lines, but I do tend to treat them in some way. And this is one way that I sort of hide the fact that they're dark outlines. By just making it look like it's supposed to be dark there. Like that. So while I go ahead and work on this bit, I'm always curious to hear what you guys are working on, so if you want to put it in the chat. I'm just, you know, always wondering what the next thing is for you. Now moving over into this black, I don't want it to be as harsh as it is, so I'm softening it by adding this brown over it, just around these yellow areas. And it's really subtle. You might not even be able to tell really, but it does give it a little bit of color and blends the two areas and makes them look less stark. Yeah. I understand, Loretta. Yep, you'll get your mojo back, don't worry. A lot of the time I find when I'm really struggling with motivation, I do small exercises, so like I sit down and I'll do, you know, a study, like a small study, or even like basic things like circle practice or line practice. You know, I just draw a page of circles, or, and at least then I'm still moving my pencil. But yeah, it's tough. Sometimes you just don't feel like it. Alright, so let's see. I want to add the same effect to this back wing here. And I'm just using circular motions for the big areas and just adding color. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, hopefully you can get your, you know, your space and time, and then get your motivation back. But you know, every artist goes through moments like that. That's pretty normal. Okay, so now apparently my pencil wants me to go into these little bubbles with this brown too. Or whatever these are, like semicircles. So now as I do to one wing, I'm going to do to the other. This just helps me keep track and also prevents an uneven coloring. So anything that comes in pairs or multiples, I try to color all at once together. Mm-hmm. Yep, and so a lot of people are like, wow, how did you get your marker so smooth? And I'm like, I didn't. But, you know, this is a great trick for anybody who's new with markers, who may feel like they've messed up. Because colored pencil goes beautifully right on over it, so you don't have to stress about if you make a mistake, it's fixable. So it takes a little bit of the edge off the markers when you realize that you can make mistakes and it's going to be okay. You're coloring coffee filters? Well, that sounds fun. And Angela, what's Slendy Bomb? Yeah, anything that works. I have a commission I have to work on today. And even though I haven't been feeling much like drawing or painting, I've been pushing myself, so. But this commission is due soon, so I don't really have a choice. I've got to get back into it. Oh, up here. Okay, and then for the centers, I just want to sort of like blend out that pencil. So I'm just going to go over it with the Jasmine color. So this is the 1012 Jasmine. Hi, I don't know why I can't focus it today. I think it's the gray light. It's just the camera's having a hard time picking up. So I'm just pressing fairly hard actually and just blending out that brown with this beautiful subtle yellow color. I'm going to do that over here too. You can see I jump around a lot, that's totally okay. Alright, so we're going to get all these front ones done. Now moving over to the back. Just using circular motions to blend out that dark brown, or medium, what is it, burnt ochre. Okay. Well, hello. How are you? Shalene. Okay. So we have here the Walnut Hollow Farm 9012 burnt umber. These little tiny dots. I'm gonna just drop in some of this dark brown. Oh, that's good to hear. I'm glad you could join us today. Alright, so I'm gonna just drop this dark brown in there and these little tiny dots. I don't even know if you guys can see this too well, but it didn't have any marker on it. So I am pressing pretty hard. I'm just knocking that out without any layers. Oh, that's good to hear. What are you working on lately? I need to hop over to your channel and check it out. Okay. So now I'm softening up that black like I did with the burnt ochre, but I'm using this really dark brown now instead. But it will achieve the same effect. And I see that this little border here is a little sloppy. Let me grab a Micron really quick. So I have here a Micron 005. This is just a fine liner I use all the time drawing. In here, I was using a brush marker, so it's a little bit, you know, a little bit jagged. Oh, let's see. Oh, okay. That's so pretty. Fun, Stacy. And, yeah, Loretta, some people think that, you know, if you lay down a bad layer of marker, I mean, this isn't exactly perfect, you know, that you're screwed, but you really aren't. Oh, that sounds fun. I love Hanna work. I only have one of her little books, but I do plan on getting some more PDFs of hers soon. Alright, so let's clean up this here. So I'm just taking this fine liner. Is it? Hold on, let me just test. Yep, it's okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna go in really carefully. I'm gonna just try and clean up this edge. I do want a little of that white showing, and I'll show you why in a minute. But I also want it to look crisper. And this is difficult because normally I'll get pretty close to the page for this kind of work, but I can't because of the camera. So hopefully I don't mess it up. But that's okay if I do. I'll just show you how I fix it. You just take your time. There you go. That's a little better. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. Sorry. Alright, well. Okay, so basically what I did there is I just went through and just kind of softened up that edge and made it a little bit cleaner. Now I have here the Spectracolor 112 Orange. This guy here. So I'm going to take it and just run it along that edge that I just went over. And we don't want it to be white, but we do want to differentiate between that back wing and this front wing. So if you just do a gentle pencil outline, it kind of softens up. And while I'm here, I'm going to just drop in some orange right there on that wingtip and soften out. The same, even though this back wing doesn't have like that outline problem, I'm still going to do the same thing to it. It might be a little bit backlit, and it just softens up that edge again, so makes it less harsh and more painterly. Okay. Like that. Let's carry this on all the way down. Like that. Well, hello, Andrea. You're welcome to come back later if you need to too. But I'm glad to have you here. It's good to see you. So now in this light yellow area, I'm gonna just add a little softness to the edge here, that black outline. And let's see, I want it to be lighter, but I'll also add it here, down here in this little yellow spot too. Now if you've colored your butterfly different, obviously you'd be picking different colors by now, but you get the general idea of my process here, and you can adapt it to your own work. let's do that actually right down here. Right, I want some of this bright yellow to remain, so I'm going to leave it as it is. But I'm going to actually grab, let's see here. This is my PC 938 white. This is my Prismacolor. It's almost done. So you don't always have to use white gel pen to get rid of the black outlines. Let me sharpen this. Hold on, sorry guys. And this sharpener's full. Ooh, check this out. So filled. I like this sharpener. It's something that somebody gave me as a gift, but I actually use it a lot. Look at all that. So I'm gonna just clean this really quick. There we go. That's better at least. Okay. And people ask me why I save my shavings. There's a couple of ways that you can use pencil shaving. So I tend to keep them in case I want to do a project like that. I'll have a nice big thing. Thank you, Stacy. I'm gonna be just fine. I've lost friends in the past, and even though it's difficult for me, I do recover eventually. So in a way, it is a little bit of a comfort that I was pressing too hard on that little tiny tip. It is sort of a comfort that I know that things will improve. So what I'm doing is I'm just going over these black outlines with my white pencil, and it doesn't get rid of it completely, but it does certainly take away that harsh line. And I'm doing it at the edges where there's like a different color besides black. Let me lighten this up too, just a bit right there. Right here. So gel pen isn't required to cover outlines, especially if you use it first. What's going on there? Alright, so I'm going to switch on over to this Walnut Hollow Farm 9012 burnt umber. And I'm going to kind of just give a dark little, this almost feels like it's like joining together. And I've noticed that on butterflies, even though you think that the patterns are really sharp, they're not. They always have, like, butterfly scales have some like refraction and different light hits it in a different way. So it's never really crisp. It's actually got a lot of texture to it. So that's what I'm just sort of mimicking here. Basically just using circular motions to go right on over that bumpy little line. Like that. Preserving some of the yellow though. I'm gonna also just give a little bit more darkness back here on that. And you can see mostly I'm just focusing on blending and softening up those outlines. Make it all smooth. Alright, so now I'm going to move on to to the bottom wings here. And again, I'm going to do the same thing since it's a similar spot. This I missed, so I'm just going to fill it in. Like that. And now switching back over to my Spectracolor 1412 orange. And just making that a little warmer. I don't know why, I just feel like doing it there. There's no rules though, you can do whatever you want. Beautiful thing about coloring, there's no right or wrong. Actually, I think that about art in general. Alright, and so we have these big areas of the wings. How do I want to do that? Well, let's first jump over to here. Kind of want to, since those are orange, I can't get this back to that bright orange, but I can add a little bit more just to tie them together a little bit better. I'm okay if they don't match, but I'm going to fill in this bit with this orange. Now what I'm doing is I'm using a circular motion, and it's kind of hard to see. Let me hold my pencil to the side more. Circular motion without actually touching the center, preserving just a tiny spot of that yellow. So that's fun. Yeah, Loretta, I saw you did get a kitten, right? That's great. Alright, so now I'm going to move over to these lines here. Now I'm using a softer pressure. I'm going to sort of blend this together. Now, if the butterfly doesn't match, like there aren't the same amount of lines here as there are here, that's totally fine. The eye probably won't perceive it, so you don't have to worry too much. So don't stress if that's the case. Okay, let me also, just in these yellow bands, just softening the tops and the bottoms where they meet the black or the dark color. Even this spot here needs a little oomph. Oh, thank you, Shalene. I hope that you have a lovely day as well. Stacy, no, Sunday, it was torrential thunderstorms, sideways wind, downpours, so that would have probably made biking a little scary. So we skipped it, but I did actually have an art show, a craft show outside in that weather on Saturday, and that was quite an experience. Having a tent outside in a thunderstorm. But we pulled through. It was still a good day. I did that with a couple of people actually. My sister joined in. She makes a lot of different craft items. My mom, she put her batiks in there. She does these hand-dyed wax resist sort of semi-abstract work. And a friend of mine from college too, she joined in. She makes jewelry and she sells like gemstones and crystals. Um, so yeah, it was quite a day. We had a good time, but no, I haven't biked since last week, and I probably should, but it's been really crazy weather here lately. We're like, oh, thank you. Oh, Anne, you're Anne that joined us at the festival. Oh, I put two and two together. Everybody, Anne is a dear lady who I know through a friend, a lifelong friend, and I saw her for the first time at the show. I'm so glad that you made it here. Sorry I didn't put that together before, but that's you. um, yeah, that. It was so fun to see you, and yeah, we had quite a day. Um, Thank you, Loretta. Yeah, Stacy. My mom has been doing batik since I was a little girl. She's loved that whole. She went to art school, and my mom is definitely a legitimate artist, but she's never had a show in her entire life. So my sister and I convinced her that she should put her batiks up for sale because we just thought, you know, the world should be able to buy this stuff. It's so pretty. Um, I have several batiks up in my apartment. Actually, I can show you guys. Here, let's take a little intermission. So I have here this one here. There's Sleeping Kitty. Look at this. This is hello, Abby. She's so funny. And then so we have this one here, which she made a long time ago, and I begged her for it. And then we also have this one here, which is brand new, and I got it at the festival this weekend. So she does like these really pretty abstract, sort of nature inspired, like I think this kind of reminds me of like looking up in a forest with the trees. I don't know, that's just my interpretation of it. But anyway, yeah, she's got a lot of really nice work. All right, back to coloring. Alrighty. Yeah, so I grew up in a very artistic family. So you can see this butterfly is starting to look much less, like the difference between the two is pretty dramatic. So it doesn't take much, but you know, just super fun just to add a little shading to these things. So let's see, do you guys want me to do the other one, or do you want me to switch over to something else? Oh wow, it's already been an hour. Well, actually, I might wrap this up. I didn't realize. Well, I have to say, I'm really glad that I did this today because you guys are awesome to talk to, and I started out being pretty sad, but yeah, by chatting with you guys and coloring today, I feel a lot better. And I'm really super happy that I can get back to these things. So I'm really sorry about the negative tone of this video in general. But sometimes life isn't peachy and perfect. I am all about being my most authentic self. So unfortunately, sometimes that means we have bad days. But I hope that you guys will stick with me even through this rough spot I'm going through. And yeah, we'll get through this and come out the other side a lot more happy. Anyway, yeah, Stacy, I think I'm actually gonna take off only because it is an hour. Thanks, Loretta. Yeah, I believe that too. I believe that hiding it or pretending like everything is perfect all the time really gives people an unhealthy perspective on how you know how life is, and then that I think that creates a lot of toxicity and negativity when people compare themselves to that, which is unrealistic. So oh, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I love chatting with you, so Yeah. Thank you, Anne. I'm so glad that you were here, and it was really, really nice to meet you. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. I'm going to go ahead and add those links as soon as this video is processed. And yeah, if you like this, please give a thumbs up. That really does help me out so much. Just helps people find me. And yeah, if you like this and you want to see more, I'd hit that subscribe button because this is all I do mostly. I do some other videos, but this type of video is my favorite. So let's see. You've been pulling back from social media. Yeah, I took a little break for a little while, but yeah, I'm back. I'm feeling better and better every day. It's not perfect yet, and I will have moments where I feel like sad or whatever, but you know, it takes time, but I'll get there. Anyway, I hope that you guys have a lovely day. It looks like the sun is finally coming out, so that's great. And as always, I hope that you have a wonderful, magical time coloring. Bye.